So many people are missing today because they've gone off to poor sunlight. Much to my disgust, I think it's sabotage.
Your prayers were answered anyway, it's rained on them.
I did that.
You can form an orderly queue and I can explain housing and power if you need that. And is anyone desperate to talk to them?
I think Mary's a bit desperate.
So,
very busy job this, you know. We don't get any time off.
This camera take wrinkles out.
yeah, I'll film you all from behind.
Don't have that bit because we're just discussing castration.
I know, I was just trying to get, I was trying to get it. I just thought, that sounds really fascinating.
Don't want that bit. Oh, that's a nice headline. So the article, Dennis has brought it in, and it's about how they made the inks.
And now they make the parchment. The ink is
There's so much for us to learn.
And they have 50 quills all lined up.
How many?
I think it said 50. There was a lot of the quills all in the line, and that's how we did it.
So like the Magna Carta lasted for 10 weeks, and then.
I don't think it was even 10 weeks.
It was 10 weeks the first one. They kept coming back again in different forms. They kept putting different amendments on it and that.
Okay.
Yeah, but not with him. So after he kicked the bucket, because it started.
My tenure in June.
What happens in June? Your tenure? Tenure? Or your tenure?
Put it down again.
That's what I'm thinking. I've got a picture of him, but I'm not sure I've got one of them standing out to do that. So when I do the book club, what can you show me?
It's quite hard to say.
I don't have to say book club, I just have to plug the book.
And the impact on English law today, Constitution today. That's what we're discussing supposedly. He started off getting books from the library or buying books and picking out those references that referred to this particular subject. That's how we started off.
That's the themes of what you're doing, and
Yes.
so John's support was in the Todmorden area in C13, overlords, tenants, and villains. What's a villain?
What is a villain?
Villain. What's the proper description of a villain?
A peasant, a serf, a landless, nobody, basically.
No rights.
No rights, nothing.
Well,
He belongs to the land rather than the land belongs to him.
he can't move. He can't move from place to place without the overlord's permission.
If the land was sold, you had to go with it.
The point of the serf is a little bit like the Russian serfs as well. You were property. You were somebody's property, you weren't a person. So the idea of having rights didn't even apply to you.
Okay.
It's an interesting concept which we've largely forgotten.
So what you're doing is relating the effect of Magna Carta to later laws and later occurrences.
The extraordinary thing I didn't realise is when the new nations, like the states, set up their foundation documents, they spoke of free men as well, but never defined it until there was this argument that used Magna Carta as the basis for slavery and against it. So, people who said it was wicked used Magna Carta, but the people who said, he's my property, said, you can't take my property away from me. So Magna Carta was... Most of them never read it, of course. It's this wonderfully mythic thing that, we're celebrating 800 years of. And most people...
Then I'd have to have something ready.
You'd be glad to know that on Monday our anti-stubbing wharf and paid the deposit for our meal in June. So that's all set up and we're starting about 11:15 with tea and coffee, and then we'll be having our meal at about 12:30. And between that time, I think maybe you have a friend who might make some kind of a presentation for us, or maybe we can all look in and talk about what
And heckle.
yeah, we can all look in and talk about what we can do.
What would you like a presentation about?
Magna Carter, please.
The whisper and the wail. Everything leaves echoes, yet sometimes there are no listeners, so I must tell you how it was. In fact, let us go fishing. First there was a lone whisperer, then there was a lone wail. How these two things led into each other was initially a confounding mystery, and no one would speak of it. But perhaps well-placed whispers are as catching as the subtle flutter of ginger and cream butterfly wings, transmitting across mud-green dormant land, magnifying in strength. The whisper entered the salty ozone sea miraculously from a clever-lipped fisher to a gaping, slippy fish, for they were both fateful fishers of words. Then sonic underwater messages began, bubbling vibrations that entered into deep white spaces between whale songs. One whale, pushing through a thought of blue, paused in its momentous marine procession, absorbed the curious alien whisper, carried it, hopeful and learning, across all deep 7 seas. But you can guess what happened next. When that whale, turning its milky, mountainous maritime bulk, sang back down the long sonic neural pathways of vast waters washing round tiny fragment lands, what should have been a greeting unimaginably grew and grew and grew, turned into a giant churning wave higher than a skyscraper. For whales do not know their own true strength. The yearning fisher was blown off the rocky beach together with the lippy fish, and all the lands that ever were sifted and mixed. So the whisperer whose breath was taken away, never heard what it was, the cause of the whale and the high wave. For a long while there was only silence. Then and then the world began again, of course. And when people whisper now, they make sure it's very